Is Scotland actually cheaper than the rest of the UK? A lot of people believe it is, but is that really true in 2026? Today we're breaking down the real cost of living in Scotland and comparing it with England, category by category. We'll look at rent, utilities, groceries, transport, healthcare and everyday expenses using 2026 data and real-world averages. Also, I'll share with you a few main hacks that save you tons of money in Scotland. By the end of this video, you'll be able to decide whether moving to Scotland actually makes financial sense, or if the savings are a myth. Over the past few years, Scotland has become a popular alternative to England. Lower rent in many areas, competitive salaries, and a slightly different lifestyle. For many migrants and expats, Scotland looks like a smarter, more balanced option. But cheaper doesn't always mean affordable. Let's start with the biggest expense: housing. In England, especially in London and the south, rent is extremely high. In Scotland, rent is generally lower, but it depends heavily on the city. In Edinburgh, a one-bed flat often costs between £950 and £1,450 per month. Glasgow is slightly cheaper, around £800 to £1,100. Outside major cities, rent can drop to £500 to £900, which is where Scotland really becomes attractive. Compared to London, Scotland is clearly cheaper. Compared to smaller English cities, the difference is smaller, and sometimes almost identical. Next topic is utilities and bills. Electricity, gas, water and internet typically cost between £150 and £250 plus per month. This is similar across the UK, but Scotland has one big factor: weather. The good news is Scotland has stronger tenant protections and increasing investment in energy-efficient housing, which can offset long-term costs. Longer winters mean higher heating costs, so energy bills can feel heavier than in southern England. This is one area where Scotland is not cheaper, just different. Let's talk about the food. Groceries are one of the most common surprises for new expats. Food prices in Scotland are generally 5 to 10% lower than in England, especially compared to southern regions. A single person typically spends around £250 to £350 per month on groceries. Couples average £400 to £500. Compared to Europe, food prices in Scotland are often 20 to 30% higher. Compared to England, groceries cost almost the same. Next section is transport sector. Transport is where Scotland often wins. A monthly public transport pass usually costs £60 to £90, depending on the city. Outside London, transport in England is similar, but Scotland's cities are more walkable. One major advantage? No congestion charge in Scottish cities. Unlike London, people living in big cities don't need a car at all. Let's move to the healthcare. Healthcare costs are similar across the UK, and that's a good thing. Scotland offers free national health system healthcare for legal residents, just like the rest of the UK. But there's a bonus. In Scotland, prescriptions are free. Compared to countries like the USA, this alone can save thousands per year. So let's be honest. Scotland is cheaper than the rest of the UK in some areas, but not all. But in 2026, the overall value for money is where it stands out. Cheaper are rent outside major cities, public transport and some lifestyle costs. Groceries, utilities and energy, these are very similar across the UK. The real difference is not price, it's value for money. Now let's talk about how expats actually save money in Scotland. The first tip is living slightly outside the city centre. Scotland has very good transport links, especially around major cities like Edinburgh and Glasgow. That means you don't have to live right in the city centre to get around easily. Many councils and residential areas just outside the centre offer apartments that are 30 to 40% cheaper, while still being only 20 to 30 minutes away by bus or train. For many expats, this is the single biggest saving. Second, sharing accommodation at the start. This is extremely common in Scotland, especially for newcomers. Flat shares help reduce rent, council tax and utility bills all at once. Many expats start by sharing for the first 6 to 12 months, then move into their own place once they understand the city and their budget better. Tip number 3, using budget supermarkets. Supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl are everywhere in Scotland, and the price difference really adds up. Shopping there instead of premium chains can easily save £50 to £100 per month for a single person. Many locals mix supermarkets, basics from Aldi or Lidl, and specific items from larger chains. The last hack is cooking at home more often. Eating out in the UK is expensive, and Scotland is no exception. Regularly cooking at home instead of ordering food or dining out can save £150 to £250 per month. This is one of the fastest ways new expats reduce their monthly spending without lowering their quality of life. So what does all this mean in real numbers? For a single person, a realistic monthly budget in Scotland is between £1,400 and £2,200, while in England this number is 20 to 30% higher. Couples usually spend less per person, families spend more but also gain stability. So, is Scotland cheaper than the rest of the UK in 2026? In many cases, yes, but only if you choose the right city and lifestyle. Scotland may not be the cheapest place in Britain, but it's one of the best value places to live. Comment below where you're moving from and your expected budget. Subscribe for honest expat guides about Scotland and the UK.